Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel, and today we have of course more Battlefield 6 news to go over. So first of all, we have the single player campaign reveal. In fact, right around the corner, we're going to be seeing some of the gameplay from that very soon. We've got new screenshots of one of the new maps coming to Battlefield 6, Sobek City, and we also have a lot of really cool looking leaks from the Battle Royale. I know, most of you don't care about Battle Royale, but believe me, some of this stuff actually has me excited. And I'm saying that as somebody who also doesn't play BR games. And then finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about the lead producer David Sirlin's comments over on Twitter, because he also has a lot of interesting things to say. So without further ado, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, don't forget to hit that sub button to stay up to date with everything Battlefield 6 and beyond. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support. Okay, so first of all today, there is an event coming up very soon, in fact towards the end of September in a couple of weeks, called Tokyo Game Show. And this here is coming out of Final Weapon, and this is the entire schedule for the show. It's going to be live streamed, it's running from September the 25th until the 28th. I will be watching this here live on the channel when it happens, because of course, everything Battlefield 6, right? I'm definitely going to be all over that, keeping you guys up to date. And as we look through the schedule here and we scroll down past the 25th, although there will be, I'm sure, lots of interesting other gaming related things there, to the 26th, we can see here from 1 till 2, I believe this is like PM UTC, I'm not quite sure on the time zones here, but Battlefield 6 single player live showcase. The developers and English voice actors of Battlefield 6 introduced the upcoming first-person shooter, including a look at the single-player story mode, featuring executive special producer Philip Ducharme and senior creative director Roman Campos Oriola. So that's pretty interesting there. We've already seen, of course, like the main reveal trailer for Battlefield 6 at least appeared to be mainly footage from the single-player campaign, but this is the first time we're going to see actual gameplay and what the campaign is going to be about. I have to say, this isn't exactly the piece of Battlefield 6 that I'm the most excited for. You know, Battlefield campaigns don't tend to be particularly innovative, they're kind of cliche most of the time, and it's kind of like a take it or leave it thing, but nonetheless, I'm still looking forward to see what they cooked up here. Okay, next we've got a new screenshot from one of the new maps that we've not seen or played before. It's called New Sobek City, and this is the second map set in Cairo, Egypt. And actually this is an official screenshot, so DICE posted this one. And it's basically supposed to be highlighting or showcasing a before and after of the destruction. And so over here on the left side, you can see what the map looked like before, and on the right here, you can see what it looks like afterwards. So as of course we've come to know from Battlefield 6, pretty much every part of the building can be destroyed except for the core itself. It sort of gives me Gulf of Oman vibes. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's these half-finished buildings here. I don't think this map's going to be quite as large as Gulf of Oman, but it sort of does give off the same vibe. I'm really looking forward to this one. It looks pretty cool. Apparently there's going to be helicopters on there. So this is a transport helicopter, of course, but I believe there are also going to be attack helicopters. No jets on this one though, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one, as it does look to be one of the maps on the sort of larger side. Now, speaking of screenshots, we also have a lot more to go over here, but I do want to make it clear that these are leaks, these are data mines from the most recent Battlefield Labs build. So today, on the 10th of September, there was a new build that went out, and it looks like we could be getting the Battle Royale in Battlefield Labs fairly soon. If you recall, when they did the original reveal event, they said that they were going to start testing the Battle Royale in Labs fairly soon. And I think this could be the time, because if we come over here and take a look at Temporeal's account, most of you guys will be familiar with Temporeal. He is one of the guys who's done, I would say, the most amount of data mining for Battlefield games, not just BF6, but also 2042. And here are a couple of screenshots that he's found within the files here of the Battle Royale. So here we've got a tank coming down, and if we go back and look what he says 3 more Battle Royale artworks teasing destruction, and a tank as a reward for completing missions. So apparently the way it's going to work is you will have missions dotted around this massive map, as we'll be sort of familiar with from other Battle Royales, but when you complete them, you can actually unlock vehicles in the game. And that is really the part of this Battle Royale that I'm kind of excited for, because as we know, Battlefield does vehicles pretty well. Here we can see the encroaching ring of sort of fire, explosions. I forget the exact name. It's some sort of an explosive gas, I believe, that is encroaching in around the map. And rumor also has it that that is going to instantly kill you. So unlike in other BRs where you kind of slowly get poisoned or something like that, and you have to get out of the enclosing ring quickly, if you get hit by this thing, you're just dead. You're done for, and that is it. So clearly you are going to be skydiving in here. There is also a video he's found in the files. I'm going to post that one below in the description because it's only on Reddit, most likely because DICE would take it down otherwise. So I'm not going to show it to you guys in the video, but if you want to see like a little bit of the insertion sequence of them skydiving out of some Chinook helicopters, then go check that one out. It's only around 5 seconds long, but basically what you can see is soldiers like this jumping out of Chinooks and diving down into the map. And once again, you can see this enclosing ring of fire. He also has a couple more here, and he says here are 2 new artworks for the Battle Royale mode in BF6, downtown area, and then a C-17 crash site. In addition, jet skis have been added to the vehicle list, perfectly fitting the Southern California coastal setting of the map. So we've also seen some leaked artwork before with jet skis on there. That doesn't mean naval combat is coming to the game, guys. All we found so far is jet skis and rib boats, so, you know, keep your expectations in check in that regard. But this honestly looks pretty cool. I just downloaded the photo here so I can zoom in for you guys on this. This is the downtown area that he's talking about here. And honestly, like, it looks pretty epic. Again, it's like Battle Royale is not the most important part of the game for me, but I think it is very important to DICE and EA for pulling in more players, and I think more players is going to be a good thing for the franchise. And who knows, maybe some of us who are just in there for the regular Battlefield modes are going to be slightly surprised by this one. I can't deny that the destruction on the palm trees going on here, like, I can't pretend that that doesn't look absolutely epic. Here is the downed C-17, so this is obviously going to be like a major point of contention. What we don't really know much about yet is what is it going to be like in terms of looting, in terms of armor, weapon pickups and stuff like that. We have seen a lot of leaks out of Temporal in the past of basically weapon drops, weapon call-ins, so you can like customize a loadout as you can in other BRs and call that in. And apparently there are going to be several second chance mechanics, so if you die, you can come back again, and then if you die a second time, I think you're going to be able to control drones or something along those lines. Some of them even have weapons on them. So again, I'm like a little bit apprehensive about that whole system because it sounds like you could essentially come back from the dead with deadly drones, maybe dropping grenades on people. So I don't know about that one. It sounds kind of a bit cheesy and annoying if you're somebody who's like left in the battle royale, you're still alive, and meanwhile somebody you just killed is coming back not once but twice to drop, you know, bombs on your head from a drone. But I guess that remains to be seen. If I had to guess, I would say that the fact that this exists now in the files, the fact that the insertion cinematic is back in there, it seems there's also new background music in labs when you're in the menus, there's a new background video playing and stuff like that. I would guess that they've probably added a lot of the Battle Royale stuff into labs, and testing is going to begin pretty soon. If that is the case, you can pretty much bet your ass that there's going to be tons of leaks of that. So if you guys want to see that stuff, I would keep an eye on Reddit. I will, of course, be talking about it. I'll be able to share my thoughts on the leaks, but I won't be able to show you guys any gameplay. So just bear that in mind. Okay, next up, I wanted to show you this. This is actually from one of the trailers, and Battlefield Bulletin highlighted this in one of his videos, and he's actually found this from a Reddit user, and it actually shows that the second map that is going to be set in Manhattan, so anybody who played the beta, you'll know there was one map set there called Empire State, and it was an infantry only map. The other one is going to be decidedly larger. It's going to have attack helicopters on there and whatnot, and somebody noticed this little snippet here from the trailer, and you can see that there are actually soldiers up on the rooftops, and I believe that's something that most people thought was sorely missing from Battlefield 6 is verticality and some of that rooftop fighting, that rooftop warfare. And so it does look like, at least if the trailer's anything to judge it by, we will be getting that on this map here. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about some of the lead producer David Sirlin's most recent comments about vehicles in the game. And this is kind of interesting. Like a couple of days ago, I put out a video on open weapons versus locked weapons, why I think personally that the weapons should be locked. And this all stemmed from a leaked Battlefield Labs video of an engineer and a support, both of them using sniper rifles up in a tower, and they were basically spamming RPGs, javelins, you name it, down on a tank, whilst the support player was resupplying the engineer. And this kind of kicked up a bit of a fuss actually over on Twitter. It almost kind of went viral, this tweet of mine where I retweeted the video. I can't show you guys the video because it's a leak, but I will link the particular tweet if you guys want to go and check it out. But here is a bit of a conversation going on between Battle Nonsense and David Serland. And so David starts off here and he's talking about this video saying that button still exists as in the originals, and the fact we have more AT on the map isn't really a problem either. Let's not pretend this type of gameplay is effective in any shape or form. It really isn't unless you can safeguard the position, which can be cleansed with fire. So what he's actually talking about here is in the original Firestorm map, there was a button at the bottom of this tower where there's these couple of snipers, or the engineer I should say, and the support player are camping, and if you push that button, it ignites fire all over that tower, and it's designed so you can clean it out, clear it of snipers, and he's saying that that still exists. However, Chris then, Battle Nonsense, comes in here and he says, AT as in anti-tank, there is a problem. We have way too much anti-tank and anti-air firepower in the hands on infantry. Infantry is more dangerous to vehicles than vehicles are to infantry, with helicopters at the bottom of the food chain with next to no survivability. And David actually comments on this and says, that is a balance issue wholesale, not specific to this situation, however, and the one we are actively working on. Rather have two weak vehicles over two powerful to start. It's a tricky one as players get better at using them over time as well. So I think they're both right in a sense here. I get what Battle Nonsense is saying. It did really feel like engineers in the beta were very, very powerful. You could have a Stinger. You could also run, an RPG at the same time. And I think you got 5 rounds for each of them. And if you went in a tank, it just felt like the amount of incoming fire was insane. There was a lot of repairing from engineers going on as well, but let's remember there was a mission in the beta to unlock a skin, and to complete the mission you had to repair a bunch of vehicles. So I really think that was the reason for the team play there, and once Battlefield 6 comes out, it's not going to be happening anywhere near as much. But I also agree with what David says here. I think it does make sense to have the vehicles slightly more underpowered and then bring them up to par, because of course what we've recently seen, like with the A10 Warthog and the Frogfoot in Battlefield 2042, is that they released them, they were far too powerful, and now that they've rightfully so nerfed them, they just kind of feel not as fun anymore. It always feels better, I think, to go from something that's underpowered and then they buff it, and you're like, oh, this is like an exciting moment. I can't wait to get in game and see what this thing is capable of now, versus having something that's overpowered, getting used to it that way, and then having it being brought down a peg. It's just not particularly exciting. It kind of kills the excitement and the fun around using that weapon, that gadget, or that vehicle. And most of the time, I think players will just like put it down and find something else to play with. So I do think they're going in the right direction here. I think vehicles have a long way to go in Battlefield 6. Like, we all saw that, I think, from the beta, at least if you were a vehicle player. I'm hopeful that they are going to do a lot of work on them in labs as well. Like he says here, if they are too underpowered, he's going to slightly bring them up to par. Like, I would say they're not really underpowered in terms of how much damage they do. I mean, for anybody who went in a tank, you'll know that the HMG just absolutely, shredded the infantry. It was kind of nuts. Like, the weapons themselves didn't feel underpowered, but maybe what Battle Nonsense is referring to here is like, it didn't feel like they had quite the survivability that I think they need to be alive for any decent length of time. But what do you guys think about that? How did you find the vehicles in the beta? Personally, I think the helicopters were kind of like the weakest link, then the jets, and then the tanks were in like the best position. But even so, I think it all kind of needs to be looked at a lot, and I am quite hopeful that they're going to do that in labs. But leave me your thoughts below, guys. I would be very interested to hear what you think about those. Not just the vehicles, but also what about the Battle Royale leaks? If you're somebody who doesn't really care about BR, maybe much like myself, are you starting to get a little bit more excited about trying it out, or do you just still not care about it? That's totally understandable as well, I guess. Leave your thoughts below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it or found it informative. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. And I will see you all in the next one.